This is Daybreak on Trust Television, and we'll take a quick dive into our major conversation this morning, which is looking at the UBEC fund. UBEC here stands for the Universal Basic Education Funds, which allows intervention in states, partnership with UBEC to develop basic education in Nigeria. The latest report suggests that 27 states plus the Federal Capital Territory have failed to access 54.9 billion UBEC funds. The statement by UBEC director reveals delay as at March 28, 2024, 1.4 billion unassessed in 2020, 2.8 billion in 2021, 14.4 billion in 2022, and 36.1 billion in 2023. Only 9 states have fully accessed these funds. We are now being joined by Dr. Umar Garba, the Commissioner of Education of Adamawa State. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you.
And I'm happy to be here.
So we have this staggering reports from UBEC. I continue to see these funds, grow, largely because states are not taking up, this fund, occasioned by the fact that they are unwilling, as it does appear, to make available their own 50% counterpart funding, which is a precondition for accessing this one. And most of these states have professed their laudable projects for the development of education, some even willing to push for free education at that level, like your state. Give us a sense of how Adamawa State, for instance, have performed as far as accessing this fund is concerned.
Well, good morning once again, and I'm happy to be here. Adamawa State is doing well as far as the education sector is concerned, and for the basic access to funding for the basic education, especially the UBEC grants, I think we are, as a state, we have performed creditably well and doing better. We have access, by way of a background, we came in 2019 as a government, the government of Right Honorable Ahmadu Fintri. And as of the time we came and met a backlog of funds that have not been accessed from UBEC because our predecessors could not meet up with the counterpart obligations. We were able to quickly, walk into it, and by 2021, for 2017, 2018, 2019, and that was a backlog that our producers could not access, and were also able to make provision for 2020 and 2021. So I want to categorically say that here in Adamawa State, we are working the talks beyond rhetorics. And as far as the education sector is concerned, we are very much conscious of the fact that this is a sector that is very critical to the development of our people. And we, especially at the basic level, the only way you can be able to, mitigate the cases of out-of-school children is to ensure that you have adequate investment in basic education. This is the only way that we can take more away our children from the streets back to the classroom. Thank you.
Yeah, and just give us a picture, Doctor, if you can, with regards to what the figures suggest after injecting such huge funds into the system, restructuring it, because the Fintri administration likes to pride itself on the success it has recorded in implementing what UBEC has been championing for the past 2 decades, which is free basic education, free and compulsory basic education. Give us a sense of where those funds played a critical role in turning things around, beyond just fixing the classrooms, but also incentivizing access to education and retaining some of our students in class.
You have rightly perhaps said it, that the Fintri administration prides itself as a government that is committed to free education, because it's a policy already in the state. And we have deployed enough resources into the sector, from ensuring that schools are made available. Not only are they available, but they are located where they are where they should strategically be. We have taken these schools, established new schools, taking the schools beyond the conventional setting to even the Sangaya system. Integrate the Almajiri system, the Sangaya system into our formal system, just provide literacy. We have also ensure that no child in Adamawa State pay a dime now as school fees, which has been working for the past 4 years and working well. We have having seen, the gap in transition, because it's another gap that we have realized. Most of the students, even those who are privileged to be in secondary school, find it difficult to transit beyond secondary school. Or some of them cannot even complete the secondary school because of difficulty in accessing funding for registration of national examinations like WAEC and NECO. So we have taken over that responsibility for the past 4-5 years. The government has been paying for the school fees for the examination of our students at the national level. So no child in Adamawa State today pays a dime again for WAEC and NECO. This has helped a lot and improved in the performance of the students as far as the national examination is concerned. Just last year, this year, NECO released its rating for its performance for the 2023 examination, and we have moved miraculously beyond from the bottom 5 out of the 36 states to the top 5 out of the 36 states. So it's something that is encouraging to us as a government, and we shall continue to do that. More fundamentally, is our school, girl child campaign for ensuring that our girls are enrolled in schools. We have been doing that aggressively, and with support from partners, we are making success. For retention, we are committed to it, and that is partly why we have taken the campaign beyond just enrollment to retention. Our percentage, our rating for retention is also higher now than before. So there's so much investment in this sector as a government, and I believe that the people are happier. The most important thing is that the major thing that encourages us the more is that we are seeing results faster than we really thought we would begin to see, because mostly investment in this sector is like any other social sector, is an investment that is long term before you begin to see results. But because of our resilience, because of the commitment of the government of Right Honorable Ahmadu Boru Fintri to this, we are seeing these results faster than we thought, because the number of out of school children is reducing in the state. The number of our performance at the national examination at the secondary school level is improving.
Yeah, Doctor,
And
if I may,
the teacher ratio
Doctor,
also is there.
may,
We have been able to
would
ensure
like
that
to provide a bit
we have
more
recruited
clarity
more
around,
teachers. Just last 2
some
years,
of
we
these
were able
results you
to.
have mentioned. Can you hear me, Doctor? Yeah, thank you. Doctor, I would like you to provide a bit more clarity around some of this progress that have been made, because of the popular maxim, if you cannot count, then it will be difficult to evaluate. What kind of movement, what kind of growth are we seeing with, attracting students into school? What were the numbers before you come in? What are they right now? In terms of retention, how would you evaluate that growth? What are the numbers? It will make sense if you're able to give us some of these numbers, and that will help us appreciate the mileage since you came on board.
Well, we came on board in 2019 as a government, and I might not be able to specifically tell you at this sitting that this is the number, but even partners all over are attesting to the fact that there is improvement in these numbers. The only thing I can really quite categorically tell you is this performance for the national examination, which, like I said, we were in the bottom 5 before, but now we're in the top 5. And NECO, for instance, in 2023 made us well, it made it clear that Adamawa came second in the country, second to Abia State. So perhaps the first in leading in northern. That means it is leading in northern Nigeria as far as that examination is concerned.
Okay.
So that is the much I can say. But the details of the statistics will be made available.
All right. Okay, Doctor. As you did mention, you came in and met a backlog of these funds that were not accessed, but it turned out you still have not accessed the one from last year. So what exactly is happening? Is the funds, it's your own counterpart funds whining? That's why you were not able to access, and maybe by extension, give us a sense of why a lot of states are not able to access this fund, because it's there for the offering as long as you meet your own.
Well, the truth about it is that for us, as I said, we are up to date
across states.
Date until last year, and I think we are pulling resources to ensure that we meet up with it. But for perhaps the reason why states I cannot be able to tell you why other states cannot do it. But as far as our experience is concerned here in Adamawa State, for me, I feel that mostly the challenge is the challenge of competing demands and the pressure on the little resources that most subnationals have in the country. In as much as there is and again, I want to suggest that yes, it's good to see commitment of states from time to time on this, and that is why I believe that the crafters of that provision in the UBEC law made it mandatory that state subnationals should be able to place something on the table as a matching grant to ensure that they access the funding. But it's becoming critical because if you have to be practical, the truth is that most of these states are not meeting up because of these challenges. So for me, if I should advise, my advice is simple. We cannot continue to have this kind of money lying there at the national level because subnationals cannot access. Maybe the members of the National Assembly needs to look at that provision in the law again, the UBEC law, and look at it. There are more. We have more needs. We have more challenges in the sector. We have, especially at the basic education level, and we cannot be waiting for subnationals to bring money to ensure that this happens. So if there is that money lying there, every state that has its own should be given, irrespective of whether it has the matching grants or not, because the reality is that there are competing needs, especially for those of us who are in security volatile area. You push the level that at times the little you have, one small security problem can consume the entire resources for a particular period. So we have huge challenge at the subnational level, and this is where the real action is as far as governance is concerned, considering the Nigerian federal structure. So maybe that provision, that provision in the law needs to be looked at again by the National Assembly to say, okay, let's release this money to subnational governments, whether they have the matching grant or not, because the challenge we are having is that the challenge of basic education is still there waiting. We're still a lot. We are battling with the crisis of out-of-school children all over, and there's money that is laying there that would have been able to make provision for more schools for these children, more campaign, more access, more furniture, more teachers. Yet there's money lying at the center, while where the real action is, there's no resources for it. So I am of the opinion that that provision should be looked at and by the National Assembly and be tweaked to suit our situation now. We are at a point where there's so much requirements for more action at the subnational level to ensure that we deal with this, especially this case of out-of-school children. Thank you.
A lot of people will say this is quite ironic. I mean, your administration, the Fintra administration, was quite comfortable paying it a few years ago. Now, however, the demands that were still there are proving to be a challenge for you to access the funds. While that idea of reworking the objectives as far as the provisions are concerned might seem like a good idea, a lot of people would point to the fact that the states have since last year, for instance, Doctor, if you can hear me, have also enjoyed improved federal allocation. Say, for instance, before the removal of fuel subsidy, the federal allocation for Adamawa State was around 61.5 billion naira. But since the removal of fuel subsidy, it has gone up to about 77 billion naira for last year. So it's safe to say that you're getting more money instead of less, despite the competing demand. So where's the priority on, funding education there? I mean, since you're getting more from the federal allocation now.
I thought what the question I was asked was to say why states are not accessing. As a government, Adamawa State, we have done well as far as UBEC is concerned, and we're still doing well. So I'm not complaining on behalf of, I'm just saying, because the question was, why are states finding it difficult? And I'm saying, it's not as if it cannot be done. When they say something is difficult, doesn't mean that it cannot be done. So, but they are doing it with difficulty. Every subnational tier is doing it with difficulty. And the question of increase in revenue because of removal of fuel subsidy. Well, if you ask me, I'm not an economist, but I will tell you that nothing much has changed, because if revenue has increased, inflation has also increased. So, and those responsibilities are still there. Nothing has changed. You need resources to tackle every responsibility. So, as a government, yes, we are saying we are not shying away from the fact that perhaps the inflow into the system of every subnational, just like even the national government, has increased. But just like every other household is feeling it, the government is also feeling the pangs of the inflation and the biting teeth of the economy. So for me, it has even been worsened. So if you say because resources has increased, therefore it will be easy with every subnational, I don't think so. I can tell you, I'm not speaking for the governors, but it's still tougher for them, perhaps even tougher than before.
All right.
The question is not about resources, because the resources are still there.
Maximum use and of the cost time left. I need a bit of clarity around. Doctor, if you can hear me, please. I think one of the things Abdullah is also trying to drive home, which is me retweaking that question, is if a subnational has not prioritized education with its own funds, what are the chances that if these other funds become available, they will not be diverted into other things? You talked about competing demands and the money cannot continue to lie there, but I think the whole concept is to get commitments, it's to get the buy-in. If you think education is priority and you can raise 50% of the fund, you have another free matching, 50% matching funds to then enable you achieve your laudable objectives around education. But if you do not prioritize it with your funds, what are the chances that
the fact
that you do?
Yes, the fact that governments cannot provide, or some of them find it difficult to provide a kind of funding, does not mean that they are not prioritizing education. But even among your priorities, there are priorities that you carry with the heaviest level of burden, and that is why there's need for that cushioning from the national government, if it's possible. If that cushioning by way of saying, okay, since we have these resources here, and we know that this year priority on education is something novel, because I want a situation where even the federal government, maybe through whatever structure, whether through UBEC itself, whether through the Federal Minister of Education, because they represent the national base for the resource allocation, to have a closer study at, or closer look at how every state is doing as far as education is concerned. And if they are satisfied to some extent on how they are doing it, with this level of commitment, I'm saying that the issue of putting counterpart funding before you access back funding shouldn't be a precondition for that access. Right. Because as much as you would like to do, you would like to prioritize education, there is a limit to which you can go if you don't have enough resources to do that.
Right. Okay.
So, and I can't see any situation where I can't see any reason where you are zealous, you are prioritized education, you are zealous, you are committed, and you are handicapped by lack of enough resources, and you have resources waiting for you, lying somewhere that ordinarily you would have accessed.
Okay.
So if you have that kind of quantum of resources, they are lying fallow and or waiting for you to be accessed, and you don't have that money or that part to put on the table to match. Why wouldn't they just release it? Because at the end of the day, it goes beyond the state.
Right. Okay.
It's Nigerian citizens that we are talking about that are out of school.
Okay. Doctor, some would say if there's a will, there's always going to be a way to make it happen. But just on
and that is what we are doing.
We're out of time. I'd like to get your take about whether the Fintra administration will go back to accessing these funds, because the rules haven't changed yet, right? Are you still going to access
I'm not,
are still there waiting for 2023 and going forward?
We will do that. We are very much committed. The Fintra administration is always leading us.
At this point, because time is so much against us, I want to thank you very much,
backlogs.
Dr. Garba Pela, the Commissioner of Education of Adamawa State, for joining us on the program this morning.
Yeah, I really appreciate you. Good to see you as always.
Thank you, Abdullah. Good to see you again.
Take a quick breather. When we return, it will be time to pick the stories that made it to the front page of the newspaper. Please don't go away.